final countdown on the Apex After Dark.
Well, howdy doody. How's everybody? Welcome. Happy Labor Day weekend. This is Apex After Dark. Long time no see for YouTube.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has been. Of course, welcome, my co-host Devil Flyer Rex. Hey. And of course, our returning champions of the GODFOE universe.
Hey.
Man, hello guys.
What's up?
Good to see ya.
Have you got that guitar down recently and picked it, Josh?
I was playing a little bit the other day. Actually, I might sit down and do a little recording soon. I have a little bit of stuff that's in my head, so yeah, I have been playing with it a little bit. That's the bass back there. The other guitars over here.
Oh,
there you go. Nice.
You look tired, man. Like you've had a full day already,
bro. Dude, I'm on like week 3 of insomnia, of just not sleeping, and it's almost time for like getting back on like meds, kind of for sleeping, kind of thing. Like it's time for the Ambien to make me hallucinate again.
Yeah.
Come up with fun plots from that.
Yeah, dude. Ambien makes you see stuff, man. It unveils the real truth of the world to you, brother.
Wipes away the veil of existence.
It wipes away something, but it gives you sleep. So there you go.
Yes. Do either of you guys have your campaigns up or your websites?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Yeah, he can throw it to you.
Good deal.
I always try to keep that ready for just such an occasion.
I think it's been over a year since we had you guys here on.
I don't know. I can't remember how long ago it's been.
Well, I know
we started.
I know you. I first met Dan over here, and then I think going to have you over on my channel maybe in January or something.
Right.
Or
yeah, that'd be great.
November was the first time on my channel. Anyway, it was somewhere in January, February, early in the year.
Yeah.
2024 or was it 2023?
It probably was 2024. We started our last campaign December of 23, so it was either December or January. It's just been such a long year.
It's been crazy. It just feels like a year.
Yeah,
it's like every day is 1,000 years with the Lord, kind of thing.
Now,
every day in Biden's America is like 1,000 years.
That's true. Yeah. And you don't hear much out of him.
No.
Oh, they got that boy locked up tight.
Yes, they do. Locked up tight. The less you see him, the best. Now, we've not had a president for the last 3 years, unless you count Obama. Oh,
no.
Just thank God you're not the one that has to change his litter box.
Yeah. Well, that depends.
It probably does. You depends.
But up. And
that's why nobody's in the chat.
Yeah. There's a lot going on Saturday night. God, you got Trash Cast. You got freaking K-pop is live streaming now. And
I love K-pop.
channel is live streaming. God, Saturday is very active. So Oh, we do have Shadowhawk Talks. Hell, what are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Shadowhawk?
Man, you're my favorite. I love Shadowhawk.
Oh, he's great.
I'm kind of partial to him too. He's my co-host.
Yes. So he was on our Rex, Hex, and Apex show, but Hex couldn't make it, so Shadowhawk came in.
Yeah.
He was just thinking, Shadowhawk, why don't you come up with a lightsaber? Shadowhawk figure with a lightsaber. That looks so badass. Let's see that. So, okay, let me check out the.
Are we saying that the Shadowhawk have a figure?
No, but he might.
Dan is the writer, and Joshua is the artist.
Yep.
Indeed.
That don't know about your project.
Let me go ahead and share it. If I see the link here, let me share it.
Shadowhawk says, "Oh shucks, fellas."
Oh,
shucks. We're down to I think the last 6 hours now.
Holy mackerel! This could be a closeout.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, we're right there at the end.
So is this the new? This is the new project.
File Koga.
I did not know. How did I miss this? Wow.
Yeah. So this is
a lot of people have somehow missed it. I don't know.
We've had a hard time getting eyes on it this time. I'm not sure what's been the. I guess everybody's just busy, or I don't know. It's been hard to get eyes on it.
I learned with my ash can. I go into chats when I was doing, channel surfing more frequently. I don't do it at all now. It's all I can do to do my daily show and everything else. But when I would go in there, they go, you'd have some mods and they'd say, well, or sign up for the Devil Flyer ash can. Well, I only had to sign up for about a month and a half. I said, no, it's already in demand. You just assume that people know about your project.
Well,
and do that.
We've been pushing it, and we sent it out to several people for reviews.
I didn't get my invite. I didn't know anything about it.
I sent you a message.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Where was that on?
It was on Twitter.
Really?
You check it Twitter.
On the wicked Twitter.
Wow,
was back on
that?
It's like May.
It's probably a month ago. Yeah.
But not like honestly, like it's funded, so like it'll go in. It's going to go into the demand. It's going to go to the printers. We're going to have just as fast a fulfillment as we had with Apollyon. And honestly, man, when we can get this, like, get out to doing signings, get to some cons and stuff, this thing's going to fly off the table. I know Dan's got a horror con coming up in September, and like this will lean into the horror side more than Apollyon did, so I think it'll do well at that con. And it's about 1,000 years or so after the world of Apollyon. Mm-hmm. It's the same world, but it's much further down the timeline, so it's its own little sandbox.
Who got strep throat?
I don't know who.
A while back.
I didn't.
I got sick.
I don't remember anybody having strep throat.
Well, now who on Twitter is under GODFOE University? Is that you?
That's Dan. Yeah,
that's Dan. Yeah.
Okay, because I know one time he said I have had strep throat.
I did have it earlier this year. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty bad off for a little while there. He was hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why.
I've heard he's hard to live with too. Like.
Well, let's go and check out this.
Now, are you going to go in demand?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah. There's no reason not to. There's no downside to going in demand. So yeah, we'll definitely continue to pick up people. Okay. Like Apollyon still picks up stuff off of in demand, and it's been out since January.
Well,
we'll still get those.
The message, but
that's okay. You're here now.
I thought I had sent it to you. Now I'm looking at it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I sent it to a group chat you were in by mistake.
I could have been a group chat.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that was probably
I didn't see
That's my fault.
You're absolutely invited to come on next week if you want to.
Yeah,
right, cool. I'll touch base with you then.
Okay.
You guys got to pimp your books. Got to pimp.
You got to pimp those books. PRB.
PRB Street Gang. PBR Street Gang. It's here.
I'm gonna send an emoji right now.
Cool.
There, so now you're at the top of my messages.
That's the way that works.
I'm behind the GODFOE Universe Twitter page. I'm to blame for all of the stuff that gets posted.
Well, let's go play this this trailer here. We got
Sweet.
File Koga. All right. Man, very cool.
Thank you.
Very, man, that's.
And who did your trailer?
Josh did.
I did that one.
Oh
Okay.
man, what program did you use on that?
Oh,
I think I used iMovie on my phone.
Movie?
I
Wow.
think so. I think I used
Wow.
iMovie on my phone.
Oh wow.
that's amazing what you can do on your phone. That's got more
All right.
computing power.
Man, they're making whole movies on iPhones now. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Like
heard.
theatrical releases
You
that
could,
are.
you could probably do a movie like Blair Witch on it. You know.
Oh,
Probably,
easily, yeah. Yeah, you could do that pretty easily. In fact, the two short films that we did with Colin Finlayson's like our photographer guy, and like he did both of those on his phone.
Oh wow,
Yeah, and they turned out awesome.
that's insane.
Yeah,
This
it's
actually
wild.
reminds me of a Hammer film mixed in with some manga.
That's very much the direction that we went with, especially visually. It's a lot of the sort of Hammer horror, those early Christopher Lee, like Dracula type, some of that vibe to it, but then with the manga influence as well. So you pegged that right on. In fact, you're one of the only people who have brought up Hammer that and like that makes me happy because like that was definitely something I was leaning into. So that's
you
awesome.
got like black light poster colors on some of this.
Oh, that was what was fun. Like, because Apollyon is this dark black and white gritty kind of comic, and Kolga is dark too. But like, we made the colors like it's crazy like saturated color. Like the colors in this book are pretty wild, and the people who have read it and reviewed it so far, that's all of them have kind of been like, wow, this book is colorful. Like,
Apex, let's flip through that thing and see a little bit more
Let's
of
flip it through. Let's see what we have here in this campaign. We have, it's a catch-up tour. The physical catch-up, the universe physical catch-up for $35, 6 of them claimed. And you have Biofile Kolga and Apollyon 20XX, 175 pages, black and white. Our first book that takes place in the same universe thousands of years earlier. There is a great overarching story they share that you don't want to miss. High quality PDF digital copies are included.
That's right.
Man, what a good price. You get this.
Now, do you guys like digital yourself as far as your reading experience?
I don't read digital, but I know a lot of people just don't have space and aren't collectors and it's a cheaper option for people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people like reading on their phone. They like reading it on their tablet. And if that works for people, it doesn't cost us anything to offer it. So like, I'm fine with doing it. I'd love for people to buy it.
And the great thing about digital is you can offer additional content that you might not want to print in the book, like the making of or some behind the scenes. I always like to put something extra in the digital for people.
Yeah, I don't really like reading digital. I mean, I think that takes away from like the comic experience. I stare at a screen all day at work. I don't want to read on a screen.
I've seen you sniffing comics, so
yes, that's the best.
That's good old
but
smell.
and like people that aren't in the States, we can't afford to ship outside the States. I don't know if anybody can. It's just so expensive. So people outside, we want a digital option for people.
I shipped 3 on just my little ash can, and prices have went up. Well, in one place, $4.
Yeah, it's astronomical. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, just those 3 was like $83.
Yeah, it's insane.
I went to Canada, Sweden, and the UK, and it just about broke me. You know?
Yeah, I priced out UK shipping. I think it was like $23 for just one book, and I was like,
oh my gosh, well, that could be worse. Wow.
Yeah.
Any more pictures up on the
yes,
campaign?
we're going to
yeah. If you keep going down, there's a lot of stuff up there.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm wanting to see
you
what
get
they
the
got
manga size physical book, 100 pages for $15 physical.
That's right, and color.
Damn, and colored. Oh my! How do you do it? That's got to be pricey.
I'm amazed at these epics that people.
I don't pay him.
Oh, well, yeah. Right, okay, good.
This is a wild looking character here on the left.
Who is this?
That's the Witch of Or.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the main villain of the book. She's got a very complicated past with that interacts with our main character's past in interesting ways, and this is a very emotional book. Like, it is an action-packed book, but it's also a very emotional book. We've had just a great time exploring. Like, this really is a book that feels like a different world. So
Very
like
proud of it.
it's pretty awesome. We've been really happy with it. It's gnarly. Got a lot of horror elements to it, body horror.
It's kind of action, adventure, horror, mystery, noir, and has humor in it for levity.
I think that's what makes Alien the movie, which is like body horror, where you have eggs laid in you. Because when it comes to being scared, I think something foreign in your body, everybody gets that.
Well, it's in our trailer we describe it as a pulp noir, and I think that's pretty close. Like, it feels pulpy the way like old Lovecraft stories were. Like, it definitely is a pulpy story, but it's, I don't know, man. It's all of our favorite things.
I see a bit of Kyle Hotz in here on this drawing.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of gross critters in there.
Oh, nice ship. Whoa, look at this. It's out on the sea with some green energy going on. 100 pages, manga size. Oh, it's manga size, full color. Oh, okay. So it's like what's the dimensions on the manga size?
7x5.
Wow. And black and white.
And that got
full color.
Yeah, and that was part of how we were able to get the cost of printing down, was going with a smaller size. And a lot of people are like that kind of pocket-sized version anyway. The manga books are manga sells so well.
To left with this, or
no? It's not manga format. Like, it's just the digest size.
Who's doing your colors?
Me.
Josh is.
Okay.
Yeah,
he does everything.
Yeah. What blotted acid are you doing to do this?
Where can I get some?
Yeah. Where can I get some?
Yeah.
You didn't.
Productive.
That's the Ambien, man.
It's Jesus and coffee.
Yeah. Jesus and coffee.
Yeah. That's pretty much. That's pretty much what I mainline.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's the way we work together. We give each other 100% freedom to do whatever we want, and then we rein it in to benefit each other. So art wise, like, Josh just gets to go wild, man. Like, that's why
I love these panels with the main panel. It's cool.
Do you give him a full script, or do you wait till the artwork comes in to kind of
full script?
Yeah, he gives me the script, and I go crazy with it.
Yep.
Wow.
And sometimes I'll add 5 pages.
Yep.
And sometimes I'll take stuff and condense it drastically.
And what's funny is we had written this as 12 individual issues to pitch to Image and Dark Horse.
Yeah.
This storyline. So it was like 200 something pages, I think, to begin with. And then when we didn't hear back from them or whatever, when we first got started, we did a poly, and we were like, well, let's condense it down to 100 and make it ourselves.
Yeah, that's smart.
And that picture you're seeing right there is a postcard size poster that the first 50 physical backers will get for free.
And what is your backer count right now?
27,
26.
Oh, wow. Okay, so still available.
So guys, do share this live stream with your favorite platforms like Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we're at the last 6 hours of the campaign,
and it will go in demand. But if you get it sooner, when it closes out, we'll get the money sooner, and you'll get your book sooner. Because Indiegogo holds
everything under that is Apollyon stuff.
We'll come over to my channel in about 5 hours, and we'll have a closeout stream.
Oh yeah.
I can't explain that to my kids the next day. Daddy
Right,
Daddy's got to sleep right now. Why? Because he had to sell his book.
Promoting GODFOE Universe, kids, to keep the roof over your heads. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the kids are going to be out of school this weekend for sure.
This is really wild.
You guys going to do anything special like grill or go out with the family or anything?
I am. My birthday is on Monday, so I'm going to my parents' house. My dad's grilling steaks for us, and
Ooh, that's gonna be nice.
I'm going to rearrange my house according to how my wife wants it.
Honey-do list. Yeah, of course.
Well, we know who won't be getting a divorce soon.
That's not a foregone conclusion.
Well, okay. Always the doubting Thomas and half full. Got it.
I'll play this trailer just to reminisce.
Yeah, that's cool.
GODFOE Universe.
I can't even.
Oh no, you're not on. That's the
coming to you with.
That's a lore video. That's not the trailer.
Related.
Oh, okay.
I have.
Well, you can watch it if you want.
The outs.
Wow.
It's a,
the ways.
I mean, it's a little longer.
All that you need to do is
Yeah.
like,
It's
subscribe,
300 page,
and follow,
trailer.
as well as find us on all our social media platforms. This way, you too can have all of your questions answered. Welcome to GODFOE. What is this universe that we are diving into? Well, to start things off, we can say that the GODFOE universe is a sci-fi fantasy epic that takes place over several millennia and is told across various artistic mediums, including comics, novels, video games, music albums, short films, and more. All of these mediums come together to create what is known as the GODFOE universe.
Are you guys still pursuing the
in this
different
expansive
mediums? I mean, I
universe,
guess you are
we
with
need
the
to
change of
understand
format,
exactly
right?
what the God and
Oh, yeah.
GODFOE is.
Yeah, the video game's about
This world,
75%
all
done.
being known as God, abbreviated GOD, has assumed control of Earth. However, there are those who by one means or another seek to oppose God. These individuals are the GODFOE. Now, this GODFOE universe is absolutely massive. You're talking millennia here. We're talking it stretches between eras, focused points in times where significant events and people exist, such as the GODFOEs. Each era includes its own stories. It'll have its own comics, novels, albums, etc., and can be enjoyed as a unique standalone work of art or experienced as a part of a larger overarching GODFOE universe. The first of these eras will begin with the launch of Apollyon 20XX. This era details the rise of God itself in a world that's a little too much like our own, kind of like a not too distant future. That about wraps things up, but I just want to make sure before I head out that you guys like and subscribe. It is very vital to do that, that you follow on all the social media platforms, because in order to be in the know, you need to be in the know.
There you go.
Woo! Nice.
So taking now, I noticed a timeline there with the couple projects you've launched, but what else do you have coming down the pipe?
So if you look at our timeline, and it's going to be included it's in the inside cover of all of our books as they come out.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
but like the so far we have the Apollyon 20XX, which is the first thing on the timeline. That's the beginning of our world.
Right.
We have the Biophile Initiative, which leads up to Kolga. Kolga is pretty much the middle of our timeline. And then at the very end of the timeline is the Black Star, which is the novels. And our first novel is fully written. We're still deciding how we're going to roll it out, but I imagine that'll come out either later this year or early next year. We'll probably be rolling that out. And ideally, we'll have all three eras kind of moving consecutively so that you'll get a Apollyon volume in the spring, Kolga in the fall, and then another novel hopefully in the winter or somewhere wherever we figure out how to make the best way to roll that out to people.
So really, you're touching on a number of like different genres, right?
Yeah. The novels, at least the first one, is a lot more in line with tonally. It's a lot more like Dune. It's very introspective sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
it's really just a unique story.
Well, you just brought up Dune. They did a new remake of Dune. Did either of you watch that? And
I watched both. I watched both of them. I think the visuals are good. I think Villeneuve is a very good director from a visual standpoint. I like the first one better than the second one. The first one was a bit more faithful. The second one he started kind of diverting away in ways that I'm not sure I'm not sure why he's taking it in the direction.
Well, I asked that because it's out on disc now, and I wondered if I wanted to sort of invest the money to buy both of the movies.
Are you a big fan of the novel?
No, I never read the novel. Mine was David Lynch's movie.
Okay. Well, if you didn't read the books and you don't have like as much history with the books as I do, you would probably love. They're very well made sci-fi epics. Like they are really good movies. The problems I have with the films are more so from the standpoint of I know where the books are supposed to go, and I'm not, and what they're doing seems to be undermining the future of the series. That's, as a reader, I have problems with, but the movies on their own in a vacuum were incredibly well made.
Now you say the future of the series, it was just like one and done with the Dune, right?
No. There were
other books.
There were 5 original books by Frank Herbert, and then there's been, there's probably almost 100 books written.
Shows you how much I know.
Yeah, no, that series it's pretty huge. So
it's pretty broad, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the big influences on us is the scope of Dune was something that we wanted to tackle.
Well, I mean, in a way, that type of thinking has kind of influenced me through Michael J. Straczynski. He wrote Babylon 5. And
I'm a huge Babylon 5 nut.
I wrote, he's redoing it. So that's
I've seen that.
He said, I wrote 1,000,000 years in the future and 1,000,000 years in the past. So I would know where I'm going and where I've been with the story.
Well, that's exactly what we talked about even like 10 years ago when we first started putting our things together was Babylon 5 and the way that he already had planned out the entire series before he ever started scripting the episodes. And he had purposely written in back doors for every character on the show in case someone died or somebody quit. He had a way already figured out to move that character away without sacrificing the story, which is brilliant. And we didn't want to ever have to come back and retcon our stuff and do a Crisis on Infinite Earths and then a second Crisis on Secret Wars Battle Planet and all that stuff. To try to make our continuity work. So like we spent a long time just developing the lore and the timeline and everything that happens so that all of that lore, even though it may not show up on the page, it's all in our head. And we know that whole big, huge story so that it can inform all of these scripts going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you've been working on it that long.
10 years. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a long decade there.
Yeah,
full of stuff.
And then we've released. We didn't release any. Like we did a little ash can a few years ago.
Yeah.
But like apart from that, the true beginning of our actual published books was this year, and we're published over 300 pages in 1 year.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the multimedia blitz, like you were talking about there with album covers and other things.
The band is working on, I think, the first like tie-in album right now. Dan's band, Blue Bolt, and Blue Bolt. The name of the band is actually a character that will show up in multiple eras of our story at some point, but like the albums are going to be concept albums set within the different eras of the book. So they're working on one of those. The video game, I think, is about 70% done, 75, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a prequel to Biophile Kolga that will take you up to the beginning of volume 1 of Biophile Kolga. So that's really exciting. And that's a fun thing when we do signings and stuff. It's fun to have people we set up the game on a monitor with a controller so people are able to play the demo, and that's been really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, have you been doing conventions this year?
Yeah.
We've done one actual convention, and it was a blast. It went really well. We've done several signings. We got a signing. Well, Dan's doing the HorrorCon this month, and then we got a signing in October, like at kind of a Halloween focused at a comic shop. And we've got a friend of ours that's going to be dressed as Kolga. She's already working on her cosplay for it, so that's going to be really fun. We try to be the coolest thing in the room.
I didn't mean to sideline you from my question, which was, you said Biophile Kolga was, if I'm saying that right, is in the middle of your timeline. What are the other things on the timeline that we haven't reached yet?
So we have a series called Reign of June. And we know we haven't written it, but we've outlined we know where it's going. We know where all of these things on the timeline are at least outlined out, even if they're not fully written. We know the whole story of them, where they start, where they end. Yeah. So June takes place after Kolga, and it follows her young ward character, her sort of sidekick character, into the future after Kolga. We have a series called The Blitz Beast that is set. It's kind of going to have two pieces to it. So there's a version of it that's set, like half the book will be set in the 1940s, kind of like an old Hellboy kind of thing. Right. And then the other half of the book will be the new version of the Blitz Beast that's set during the time of Apollyon 20XX. So it's going to kind of go back and forth between the original version of that character and the new version of that character in the same story. That'll probably be either available through our website or as a Patreon type thing, or we may go the route of floppies on that. I'm not sure.
We thought about doing floppies on that one.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's I'm excited about doing that one. And that character, the Blitz Beast, is going to show up in Apollyon 20XX. So that'll ultimately be a kind of a spin-off, but it's a really solid story on its own.
He's kind of more of he's not a superhero, but more in that vein as baddie of the week or baddie of the month type deal. So floppies could do really well with that, we think.
Yeah.
He's more of a traditional character.
Josh's art is so great. We've always, or at least I have always wanted to do some kind of idea with floppies because I like putting floppies on my walls.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it's a shame to have such a great artist and not do floppies at some time,
Yeah. We've got one that's called The Time of the Great Kings, which will probably be like a 2-volume graphic novel. It's a shorter story. It's more fantasy. It's going to have a lot more of a Game of Thrones, Frank Frazetta, Conan type vibe to it. Cool. And that'll be set right in the aftermath of Apollyon 20XX, of when kind of the end of our world as we know it will give way to the next one. And the Time of the Great Kings is this sort of transitional period in there.
Yep. In the novels.
Yeah, we got the novels that are all set at the end of the
and the first one's done.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
So all of the Black Star novels, those will be filling out the end of our timeline.
Yep.
You got Reign of June in between there. And then we've got these little one-shots like the Crimson City Crusader and
Crimson City Crusader. There you go.
That one's very cyberpunk. That one's going to be awesome.
That's cool.
I would really like to do that one kind of like those 70s French comics that have huge mural type drawings with text in the middle.
Diabolique.
Stuff like that. I love that stuff. Yeah.
Everything we do, even though ideally eventually we'll pick up another artist or two, but for the time being, I'm the workhorse. But even you can tell looking at Apollyon versus Kolga, everything we're doing, I'm trying to give each title it's a very distinct identity artistically. And that's something that's going to continue too with the other titles as I work on, as we're able to get to those things. It's just a matter of us building a platform, building a fan base, getting to the place where we can, have the time and I can afford to devote more time to it.
Yeah. And we're strange. We know that we're odd. We've got our own insular universe. A lot of creators do.
Oh yeah,
But ours jumps a lot of genres. We really want fans of the universe. Like we love comics and stuff, and we want comic book fans, but we really want people to like focus on our stuff. We're trying to kind of stay out of competing with other indie comic creators. You know what I mean? Like we're not here to cause trouble. We're trying to kind of just create our own niche and do our own thing and kind of stay in our own lane.
Yeah, we just want to carve out our own cool little corner with people that enjoy it, and and keep those people entertained for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and we've also
Okay.
nice. When you realize how we've got so much material written and outlined, like there's no end to the amount of stories that we already have ready.
Well, that's I find, when setting up my own universe and my own stories, that's the thing, right? You have to figure out some of the basics, some of the fundamentals, so it can sort of grow over time. And you have to, okay, what is the most economic or maybe easy way to ease into some of these things that you want to express and talk about?
Well,
and
one
that's
of the
no
things,
small thing, because you have to work that out ahead of time.
It's not, and one of the things that I guess with Kolga, it has been a very delicate balancing act is Kolga more than Apollyon, because Apollyon was set closer to our timeline and our world, and it feels more familiar, and that's why we introduced that world first. But Kolga dumps you into the deep end of our universe in a really big way. And one of the things that we try to find a delicate balance of is, we don't want to just info dump. We don't want to have characters spouting all this exposition in ways that doesn't feel organic. So like you do get answers in Kolga and you do get explanations, but there's a lot of stuff at the end of this volume, even though it's 100 pages, there's a lot of stuff that you'll end the book saying, I still don't know what this is. But the thing is, the next volume we're already writing, and we know exactly. Like you're going to get those answers. Like we're not going anywhere. We know what those answers are. Those answers are coming, but we want them to come in a way that's organic, that's not bogging down the story and slowing down the pace to have our characters stop and say, "Let me explain the world to you." So like it's a toss up. Like we did, and ultimately decide to go back and add a little bit of an introduction primer at the beginning on the inside front cover, just to kind of help people understand what they're getting into. But
it almost sounds like you're doing a hit and run, though. How do you deal with characterization and plus build personality into these characters? Is it because you got such a large page count that you can do that within the same volume?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm very proud. I'll shout Dan's praises here. I think the strongest element of Kolga, I know that catches people's eye initially is the bright colors and the flashy art and all, but the thing that has resonated with people who have read Kolga is the characters. And, Kolga has a lot of action in it, but it's a character study. It's when you get into it, you'll realize, there's a fight here, there's a fight there, but they did an incredible job, introducing these two ladies that are the main characters, along with a character named Stu, which the less you know about Stu right now, the better, because he's such a fun surprise in this book. But the story really allows those characters to be fleshed out. And I think that's different from a lot of comics, and particularly comics, is that comics focus so much on plot and so much on world building to the expense of characters, to where you could drop any character into that book and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
We kind of took the opposite approach. And I think initially there's some people that may read Kolga and say, okay, this feels kind of different, and I'm not even sure if I like it right away, because it is more character focused than story focused. But this is the first volume of several, And
is it an upbeat story, or is it?
No.
Am I gonna come away needing a shower and being depressed and wanting to kill?
Come away needing a stretcher?
It's not a downer. It's not
that. And there's honestly some laugh out loud funny stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But it's a serious book.
It is. Yeah, we have a really well placed comedic character who.
Is that something you're going for? Is to
Link
is to talk about some serious issues? But
in this book,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. There's a lot of learning how to deal with trauma, learning how to be aware of your own flaws.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of tension between the two female characters.
It's good that you put the humor element in there. I think
it really balances it out, because otherwise this book could tend towards a darkness that's oppressive,
and it's definitely not grimdark or ironic or a downer or anything.
It's not nihilistic. It's not meant to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a fun ride, but it does deal with some serious things, and it opens the door for us to really explore these characters more as we go forward. And, it's a testament to Dan that everyone that we've had, that have read this, they might have said, oh, the art's really awesome. I'm not sure I understand this, but I'm waiting to find out more about it. I want to know more about it.
Have you got any plans to revisit, or is it like one and done? We've talked.
Oh no, this is a long one. This
is longer than Apollyon.
Yeah, this will be at least 6 volumes.
Yeah,
at least.
We had written 100 issues out initially.
Wait a minute. I'm confused. How do you do that? Is it like 6 issues over time, or what?
This book is 100 pages. It's the equivalent, roughly, I guess, of 6 issues. And this is volume 1. Volume 2 will be out next spring.
Okay.
Or next fall.
Yeah.
So is that going to be your next project? And is that dealing with the Prodigy?
Apollyon 2 will come out in this winter, so a couple of months.
Okay.
And then Kolga will be out shortly after that.
Okay. And will that story be dealing with, like you were talking about, Joshua, about the sidekick character later on in the timeline, or does that come in another book?
That's a different series.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole different series later.
Okay.
After we finish
Kolga, but later.
Yeah, it'll be more like a sequel to Kolga.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's got a different tone to it as well, though. Because
okay, so there'll be a volume 2, and that'll be like what? How many volumes in that thing? How many volumes in this one?
5,
how
6,
many
7
volumes in volume 2?
5, 6, 7 volumes of Kolga.
All together.
We're aiming for 6 volumes of Kolga, and then June will probably be just as many, honestly.
But now, when you say 6 volumes, you're condensing them into 2 books, right?
No, 6 books that are 100 pages each.
6 books. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're going to be at this for years.
Yeah, conquer the manga market. Hey, kids.
One
Piece.
Yeah, we would like to. We would like to get into the manga market without being straight manga, because we like manga, but it's like, if we're very contrarian in a lot of ways. If we see something that's been done before, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. You want to be original, and you might start a trend or something, that hasn't been done, sort of like a Western manga size.
Well, and that's kind of, and it's funny, we made that decision, I don't know, I guess around a month or so ago. We decided, you know what, let's go with this size and lean into the manga element of it and do it size. And then I saw this week that DC Comics is going to start releasing their stuff in the digest size too.
Oh yeah, you're going back to that.
I saw that.
So I'm like, okay, we beat them. We were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Well, we want to keep prices. Main things, we want to keep prices down for people. Like, it's super hard out there. Like God knows that you can't even afford gas or groceries. Like.
And that's a good reading size too.
Like
I mean, obviously a good carry round.
Yeah, it's very convenient. You know, kids could easily put it in a book bag. Like it's a convenient
Now,
size.
what kind of paper stock? It's got to be thinner paper stock, right? Because you're talking 100 pages.
I don't know.
I think it's either 50 or 60 pound.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we tend to use, was it matte? We don't do glossy really.
No, I don't do any. I don't. Yeah, we don't do glossy.
I like the matte, you know, and
Yeah, I like the matte.
with glossy stock, you run the risk of pages sticking together straight
Yeah,
out of the
they're very sticky.
You got to turn it a certain way so the light doesn't hit it.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember in the 80s, sometimes, you know, the paper would separate and bubble up.
Oh,
Yep. I've never liked the glossy look.
I've never really liked the glossy either. That's more magazine stock.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't know. I like the way matte paper feels in my hand.
I
see Suzanne in the chat. Hey, Suzanne.
Hey,
Suzanne.
and we're kind of we always love doing things punk rock, man. Like we like taking risks. I mean, like what's the point of doing this stuff if you're not going to have fun with it? Like if you wanted to be business, like I say this on every stream. Like I'm in IT. If I wanted to make 6 figures, I could take like a few tests and do it.
Yeah.
Like this isn't about money.
Well, I mean, let's face it.
You know?
I mean, you could say that Ninja Turtle was derivative, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
You know, but it was still a process to get there, you know, and they had to have a good business manager to step it up to get the toy line going, to get the animated series going. So it wasn't it was kind of successful from the get-go. They sold out every issue.
Yeah,
but they had to grow on that. So is this multimedia thing more leaning into that of growing?
Yeah, I mean, it's
because obviously you want to be successful, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if somebody offered you $100,000 campaign, you take it, right?
Oh yeah. You know what we're kind of where we're at with it is we've tried to plan as many sandboxes as possible, and do our due diligence on making sure that like nothing is half-assed, that it's all like fully, like we've planned it out. It's all things that we've really worked hard on. And there's, you know, every time we switch gears from one book to the other, I get just as excited about Kolga as I am about Apollyon. And then I get back into Apollyon, I'm like, oh, wow, this is so great. So like, if I love making it, I believe people will love reading it.
Well, I think we should update the campaign and see the number jump.
That would be nice.
Let's see. Let's go and refresh. Is any activity whatsoever? Come on.
Well, I wouldn't have suggested it if there wasn't any activity.
Okay, we got one backer. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
One to back.
Yeah, almost up to 1,600.
Appreciate it. Please announce yourself in the chat if you back this book. Which will give you kudos.
What are you going to give them?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Life is groovy.
Is that it?
All links dropped. There you go. Thank you, Suzanne.
Awesome. Is GODFOE still going on? The first one, the Apollyon?
Oh yeah, I'm drawing volume 2 right now.
Okay,
that'll be out
right now. So right now you're up at 2,144 with 59 backers. Not too bad.
Hot dang.
Yeah, Apollyon did well for us, and we've just, you know, ultimately when we can build the platform big enough that there's enough people that know, hey, these guys are consistently putting out stuff that I like. I know that in the spring I'm going to get a new volume of this. I know that in the fall I'm going to get a new volume of this. And once we've earned people's trust and we've got those faithful people that are consistently, you know, helping us build this platform and telling other people about it and saying, hey, I read this really cool thing and you should read it. Like when the time comes that we have the people that are, you know, the fan base that are supporting this, you know, then absolutely I go to, you know, we can go online and find somebody that can design.
Take this down and make us big so she can see our names.
Okay, here we go. Now let's go ahead and hold on, get there. Where am I?
I feel like a postage stamp.
Say hello.
There's Josh.
Joshua Adams.
Hi.
And of course,
I'm sorry that I was
Dan Evans, the writer.
You
You know who this is? You know who I am?
Mm.
There we go.
Ugh.
Da, da, da,
Made the
da.
rounds.
But no, like I've got a 3D printer, so when at a certain point in time, I've tried working with Blender and some 3D programs, and I haven't picked it up very well yet. So I'll probably shop out the 3D design part to somebody, but like we'll make figures in the at some point in the future.
All right.
It's just a matter of there having to be. I'm not going to make a product that doesn't have anybody like ready to buy it. So
I understand. Yeah.
But yeah, there's plans for that. Of course, the game will come out. That's a whole different. The game is a whole different set, like demographic. That will hopefully funnel them into the universe through that. So and hopefully the music as well when the albums come out. Hopefully that finds an audience too.
Yeah, you want a multimedia
presence.
Yeah. We want to be annoyingly in your face every time you turn around. We want you to see us.
GODFOE in my face, more GODFOE in your face. Everybody buy GODFOE.
How did they get it so big?
So big.
I don't know. I'm blown away by you creators that want like 100, 200. I mean, I can, if you're telling a big epic story, I get it, but it's like, wow, it's all I can do to do 48 pages or 52 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all we can do to trim it down to 100.
Yeah. Some people struggle at 8 pages. I mean, my God.
I mean, it's not just you guys, it's multiple campaigns
yes.
Here's 100 pages. Well, I mean, and Apex does all his stuff himself, so yeah, he can sit there and do 100 pages.
It'd take about 3 years.
Fembat is huge.
It's 56.
Yeah, 56 pages. That's no small little tome. That's larger than a floppy.
Well, what's funny is like with Kolga was 100 pages, and I drew it, inked it, colored it, lettered it. And I finished Kolga in like 3 months.
Wow, that's wild.
He started it this year. Yeah,
wow.
That's amazing.
Well, and Devil Flyer, I think maybe there's a generational difference too. I think maybe pages, because the older comics had more words per page.
Yeah.
And our stuff tends to have less words per page, and a lot of that's because Josh likes to draw. So we kind of trim down what I write, and that adds pages. But it's not necessarily that I actually wrote more than an older comic. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you read like a Chris Claremont, I mean, there's just stacks, or like an Alan Moore, like stacks and stacks and stacks of text.
Oh yeah.
But then when you get some of those Golden Age books, oh my gosh, you think Claremont had a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
I can't hardly even read some of that stuff. It's
a lot of the older stuff. And it's just a different generation, I guess. It's just a different approach to storytelling. And I'm one of those that, I always lean on show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Oh,
as much as possible, as if you're able to show it without having to have someone point at it and say, "Oh my God, it's a dinosaur erupting from a sword."
I was trying to get Jim O'Reilly to do a 3-page, and Rob Ewing did it for me. But I was trying to get him to do something for me, and he said, "Well, send me a script." And it's like, I generally don't work that way. Now I do write some scripts for some stuff. I have done that, but I generally get the artwork in and then write the exposition to the art. Now I know that's different. But that way I can pivot and
hey, whatever works for you, man. You find Dan and I have found a very good rhythm that works for us, but a lot of that has to do with us being best friends that have worked together for a really long time.
Well,
we talk almost every day.
I think very cinematically, and I believe, like you said, show it in the artwork. Yeah. And really those 3 pages that Rob turned in, you don't need any speaking. You can tell what's going on. And
to lean into that, I started the 2nd chapter of Polyon Volume 2 today. And the whole 2nd chapter, which is like a second issue or whatever, the whole 2nd chapter of the book is from the dog's point of view. And so every angle of it, I try to make it like from the point of view of the dog. But I also like I do have word bubbles, but the text is just scribbles. The only words that are in there that are actual words. Hello, Suzanne. Like the only words are like the names and things, the words that the dog recognizes.
Yeah.
So like he knows his name, so I write his name in there, and he knows like other characters' names, and he knows certain words, but like the rest of it is just scribbles to him.
Yeah. So you're really getting into the sort of the mind or the perception from the dog's point of view.
Right, which is a challenge to me is can I show all of the events that are happening
How can you convey that without it being silly?
Yeah, and it's so far it's going really well. It's one page in, but like so far I'm very happy with it. But you know, I like the idea of doing something that challenges me though.
Yeah.
And you know, that makes it a unique read for people. So
now, what kind of stretch goals are you doing, or are you even doing stretch goals?
We're not doing stretch goals. We needed enough to get to where we can get it in hand, and once we got it in hand and in other people's hands, then we can sell that bad boy in person. And
thank you, Suzanne, for sharing out on that.
Yes,
thank
you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Are
you guys going to be available to come on next week sometime?
I don't know if I will be. I've got kind of a wild week coming up.
I want both of you on. I tell you what, I've gotten you on separately, but I don't think I've gotten you on together.
We can figure something out. Josh and I can
figure
talk.
something out.
We'll try to.
Yeah, I know I'm asking for trouble. Because Dan, you got to kind of fry the engine. You know, you kind of got to. But with Joshua, he's like, just ask me a question. I'm off from 0 to 60.
Josh speaks for a living.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
He does every occupation he has is talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
it's
you
great,
know, I guess it's a difference in personality, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, you know, in this scene, there's a lot of introverts.
Yeah. It's weird because I'm a talker, and like Dan says, like I'm always like everything I do is talking or teaching, preaching, that kind of stuff. But I'm I call myself a functional introvert because I actually
you're
don't.
Also wired without any sleep. That helps.
I don't know how wired I am. I'm definitely sleep deprived. I don't know if I'm wired.
Okay. Well, that would wire me if I was sleep deprived, and often I am this time of year.
That's right.
Working nights like I do and sleeping during the day.
He said, "Working 9 to 5."
No, I don't work 9 to 5. No.
Yeah, different hours.
Maybe afternoon to about 3 or 2 in the morning.
That sounds like me. Yeah.
I prefer the nighttime, especially during summer.
The nighttime is the right time.
No, it's so hot. Oh man, it's so hot. We'd had a few days. We had about a week that it kind of felt nice. Like in the mornings and afternoons, it was cooling off and was feeling kind of nice. But it is back to it's the devil's armpit. I'm in South Carolina.
Okay,
you're in South Carolina. Okay, Rob Ewing that just did those pages for me. He moved from South Dakota. Okay, he's South Dakota. That's different. Okay, you're in Carolina. All right.
Yeah, South Dakota. There's nothing there but dirt and rocks and tumbleweed.
And where are you at, Dan?
South Carolina.
Okay.
He's more up, kind of in the upstate. I'm down in the low country.
What's the big difference between north and south?
The barbecue sauce.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Vinegar versus mustard.
You are. Which do you prefer?
I prefer vinegar.
Well, okay. You know, actually, there's a great barbecue place here. Now it's about an hour away from here, but and actually they closed it. I hated it, but now they had the best of both worlds. They had the smoked meat, and their slaw that they used was a mustard vinegary slaw. So you had the best of both worlds, and it was awesome.
Yeah, we got a place. We got a place here in town that like the family that owns it owns several restaurants, and they go to our church.
Nice.
But they got probably the best smoked brisket I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
Wow.
brisket can kind of be iffy. It can kind of get tough.
Not when they do it. Theirs just melts in your mouth. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, you got to
you
do
know
it
how
right.
to do it.
Oh, yeah, I
If you
got
know
you.
how to
Dude,
do
I'm
it,
telling
it's
you.
real good. Yeah,
They have like, if you really want to like clog your arteries, they have like this big, they have this po' boy. It's like, so
yeah,
they do the hoagie roll, and then they have brisket, barbecue sauce. They have their pulled pork, and then on top of that, they have a bunch of macaroni and cheese, and then their homemade sauce.
oh my gosh, yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's delicious, but it will kill
sounds
you.
great. Yeah,
It takes a year off your life,
it sounds like.
but if
a
you don't like
course.
your life, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard to find good barbecue. I mean, truly.
Not down
hard.
here. You need to take a road trip, brother.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you're in a state. I mean, Texas and Kansas City and Memphis. I mean, that claim actually right here is a book that probably covers your state that I actually made when I worked at World Color. Uh, uh, this is just like one of the airline books. It's got Corky's on the cover from Memphis, but let's see if we've got anything under your state because it does cover Texas and different places. Let's see.
We have, man, yeah, the South is a good place for grilled or smoked meat.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we get good burger places down here. Good barbecue places are pretty easy to come by.
Oh, of course. Wow.
At least
Yeah,
not. I say that down here where I'm at, Dan. You don't have a lot of good barbecue in the upstate.
There's like one or two places, but yeah, it's better.
Well, at least
usually
you have that. We
more
don't
down.
really have anything
And
right here.
you got a lot. They got a lot of other really good food up there, though, so it makes
Yeah.
up for it. But yeah, when he comes down here to see me, we always go get some barbecue.
South Carolina has a very unique barbecue, which is what I prefer. It's like most places they do barbecue, they cook it dry, and then you select your sauce when you go to eat it.
Yeah,
South Carolina is a famous barbecue where you sauce it while you cook it.
Yeah,
So
that
when
makes sense.
And it's and it's usually done on a big like smoker or grill, and then people they use cooking mops and they dip the mop in the sauce and they dab
Right.
it. And I don't know, that's my favorite.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It is
Now, they
really
don't-
good.
they don't have in here. They've got North Carolina, but not South Carolina.
Well, they're stupid.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
They
Skylight-
also need to take a road trip.
Skylight Inn.
Yeah.
That's on the east, and then then Wilbur's Barbecue on the west. They got Stanley's Barbecue, Lexington #1, Allen and Son Barbecue #2.
Actually, a Navy friend of mine had a barbecue place called Bunky's. It was in Spearfish, South Dakota. His stuff is phenomenal. I mean, there's a
And
beer
you
place
know
right next
you're
door.
in it. You know you're in for some good food when you can smell it from like down the road.
Oh
Yeah.
well,
You can smell the wood and all. You're like, yeah,
There's
this
a
is
lot
about to
of
be
people think they
fantastic.
got good barbecue, and they don't. You know, they say, well, we'll
It's
smoke the
pride.
meat. Anybody does barbecue, you're going to smoke the meat.
Of
So
course.
it's in the slaw, it's in the sauce, or the dry rub, whichever.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people just rely on the sauce and call it barbecue. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's just
okay.
no.
I mean, because I on this one place, they smoked the meat. There was no sauce. There was
Yeah.
only that mustard slaw. And he told me, and they salt and pepper it. But now they I know he put, I don't know exactly what, but he put in the slaw, he put some kind of salad dressing.
Okay.
And it was good. It was good. His brother had the same smoked meat,
Mhm.
but he did more of the traditional slaw, and it was good, but it wasn't this place good. You know, that mustard slaw. And he put the slaw on the bottom of the bun instead of the top, so it's not messy. And
Oh,
it was
Lord.
it's good.
Wow.
I know in this magazine they have in Memphis smoked bologna, and there's even one place I've seen, I think it was actually on TV and not in this magazine, where they did, and I would try this. I would absolutely try this. Of course, my favorite condiment's mustard anyway, but they would do sort of like a boiled pig ear,
Uh,
with mustard on a bun, and I would absolutely try that. Probably a lot of fat content, but
hey, well, that's like one of my favorite things in the world is pork belly, dude.
Pork belly,
man. We got a new Mexican place here.
I knew you were a pork rind eater,
dude. We got a new Mexican place that they have these pork belly tacos.
Oh,
and they've got like a spicy guacamole sauce that they put on it, dude. It's one of the best tacos I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Food Network, folks.
That's why I have a damn food channel talking about this stuff all the time.
Making us hungry at midnight.
Watch Red pull out the deep fryer, start deep frying butter, like saying the N word with a hard R.
Now, do you guys have an air fryer? Because air fryer.
I do.
Dude, I love my air fryer, man.
Yeah, it's great convenience, isn't it?
It is. We actually just got a new one that's got like two sides, and you can make them where they'll you can be cooking two different things, but they can finish at the same time. It's awesome.
Basket, yeah.
It's romantic.
Yeah, it's romantic. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great for movie time, right? You can.
It is.
You can do like some popcorn chicken or something like that in there, and sit in front, and get it done quick and get into the movie. It's really great, man. So, did you finish the different titles that are on the timeline? I got to go back to that.
They're not like all of the stuff on the timeline is at least outlined. We know the whole story. We know how it's going to end. We have at least.
Well, will we get, without getting into minutia, what are the different titles that we can expect to come out in the next 20 years?
Well, everything on that timeline should be out by then. I would say in the near future.
Name the titles for me.
In the near future, I would expect for right now, you're going to be getting Apollyon and Kolga, and you'll get a Black Star novel, and we're going to try to have those three moving.
But that's a novel. Are you?
Yeah, that's a novel. Are you going
to crowdfund that?
We haven't decided. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the best approach to the novel.
Couple that with another campaign,
and that may end up being what we do. We're still trying to figure out exactly the best method for that.
Yeah.
As far as the next title off of the timeline that you'll likely get, I could imagine it being either the Blitz Beast as floppies, or I could see us doing the Time of the Great Kings in the near future, because that fills in some of that older part of the timeline.
So, I mean, really, are you going to do some floppies? Are you going to do some lower page?
I'm kind of excited about that.
Wow.
Yeah, I am too.
Blitz Beast will definitely be lower page count. That's how I've written the story.
You've already written most of Blitz Beast, I think.
I've got it mapped out. I think I've written the first issue.
Okay. Yeah, and we know that's going to be fun, because I'm gonna lean more into the minimalist style for the flashback stories, and then the modern time will be a little bit more like Apollyon. Well, it's gonna be fun.
I'd be remiss in saying that you're trying to create a universe of variety.
Oh yeah, and the ultimate goal, and you talk about 20 years from now, but 10 years from now, we would like to have our three main flagship things steadily going.
Yeah,
and then start working on June, getting June out on the same kind of schedule.
Would you say you're laying the foundation right now for everything?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just a matter of building enough fan base, building enough of a platform, getting it in front of more people. We've got it in some comic stores in our area, but we're going to start making some road trips. So I want to go to Savannah, and I want to go.
Was it easier with this campaign than the first one?
It's actually been tougher. Honestly, it's been tougher with this one, and I'm not sure 100% why, but we're funded and it's going into demand, so I'm not worried. We're not stressing about it. Right. It's funded, and once we do really well when we get to be at a table and we get to meet people.
Yeah,
we make bank when we get to be in person with people, and when we have our characters out there cosplayed and we got the game set up, and we're pretty hard to miss at a con, even with all the stuff that's going on at a con or at a signing or an event. We stand out. We got our big TV screen with the trailer going. We got the, like we're pretty, we stand out. So once the book is in people's hands, they don't want to walk away from the table without buying it. So like it's done, it's going to do well for us. We just need to start spreading out, doing some road trips to get our book in a few other places. And it's just a matter of pounding the pavement.
Have you considered other alternatives, like trying to go the Amazon or the other book distributor route?
Amazon, really, you could lose more money than you can make money on.
That's kind of what I've looked at it, and if anything, we've got it set up where we can sell directly through our own website.
Yeah,
I don't see any reason
how do you lose money doing it that way. I know
Amazon takes most of the profits.
Yeah, Amazon takes the lion's share of. They print on demand, but they get the majority of the funds from it. So it's kind of
I think print on demand absolutely is a viable option, especially for smaller creators. But not just that, but you can print as many as you want. But then I think with comics, it's like, is this a first print? That's important.
Yeah.
Is it a second print?
Yeah, I don't know.
And if you just print it for 5 years, is that, as it sells, is that a first print? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard and I think the biggest thing for us is going to be just, we got to get to more conventions. We got to do more signings. We just got to get kind of broaden our
you done the hard part, and that's laying a good foundation. And I know you're still in that process in the early construction of all of it, but if you don't lay a good foundation at the very beginning, it makes it tougher down the road. You got to.
Well, and that's the thing is, there's a lot of campaigns, indie books that go out and you can say, they were very successful and they make have a really successful campaign, and then they never release an issue 2.
Right.
They don't. They never even planned another issue, or like that story goes nowhere. That's
or they'll do the one and done, and then they'll move on to another thing, a new IP.
Yeah.
Really, they need to do a follow up.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we came into this knowing we're not going to be like anybody else. Like we're not doing, and we're finding our own way, and we've learned some lessons on the first book that changed, the kind of the way we approached the second one, particularly on our end of, saving things and making sure that we had backups of everything and finding that way to streamline our process.
They're doing an album. They're doing a vinyl album with their book. They're doing the black light poster characters. Throughout.
We've got
that immersive.
We've got
I don't know what you would call it. Back in the 60s, we would have said psychedelic, but now
it is though. There's some moments in Colga that are a little on the psychedelic side. I would say we've also kind of want to get if we can get a few more people involved. We got a few people that do voice acting, but we're looking at trying to get a few more people involved in it. It would be a bigger project that I could do by myself.
I would love
to do an audio.
Well, we're planning to do if you look on our timeline, you'll see Biophile Initiative. We're going to do like at least 3 seasons of a scripted like audio drama, like old school radio type show.
Yeah, I love that
podcast.
Stuff.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's going to be
enough written to do it now. If you just had the voice actor,
man.
Well, I've got the first
sign me up,
season, son. Like I might, man. Like I know y'all have enough. Y'all have the capability to record audio, so like that's kind of all we need. And
if you ever need a hillbilly.
But no, like we got
get Wanger. He's much more.
Wanger, yeah.
The biggest obstacle for both of us is time. Like I have during the summertime when I'm not teaching, I have more time. But like,
and remind me, what do you teach?
I teach at the Christian Learning Center, so I teach Bible classes.
Oh, great!
And I teach I'm teaching 4 classes a day. I get home about 2:30 or 3. Really, it's closer to 3.
What are we talking about here?
Middle school.
Okay.
Yeah, middle school. So like I get home around 3, and I draw for about an hour. And then my wife and I meet at the gym at 4 when she gets off. And then you got to cook dinner. And then it's like, once we've had dinner and spent some time together and all that, then I may draw again for, work again for, 2 or 3 hours at night. But and then Dan's got a wife and 2 kids. So it's
amazing Dan didn't fire you if you only work like 2 hours a day drawing. Going to the gym and all that. Come on.
He doesn't pay me yet now, so
he doesn't pay me now. Okay,
but it's one of those things where right now it's entirely a labor of love. If we weren't passionate about it, we definitely wouldn't be doing it.
I mean, that's how I got my start. Is I got together with a friend, and he said he would draw the thing, and I'd mentioned I wanted crowdfunding, and then for like 8 months, I pitched him every other idea, sci-fi, just different things. And he was like, no. And I'd sit down and I said, man, I really got to get something going here. And there was one project he said yes to, and that was Devil Flyer. So I said, okay, let's do it. And, he did it. I didn't pay him, and hopefully I'll make enough, to give him some, now he's getting comped with everything that I make, but and that's that's my way of paying him back, and I know he enjoys all that and adding that to his collection. But
see, like I've got, I also I do work on some things for a company called Legacy Comics. I do some work for them.
Mm-hmm.
I do a few smaller books, for people that are just hire me to do the art, and that makes a little bit of money.
Yeah,
it's not exactly like stuff I'm passionate about, but it's money. It helps keep the light on.
You're moonlighting on Dan. I got
but I do have.
You have to.
Like in my closet over here, I've got I think 10 issues of a fantasy series that I have completely penciled.
Now, are you guys going to do a web comic with this?
I doubt it. If we do, it might be on a Patreon thing. We've tossed around. There's a couple of smaller ideas we've tossed around doing as a web comic, but again, it's just a matter of right now. It's a matter of time.
There are web comics out there.
There are, and some of them.
I know Adam Post took some of that stuff and actually put it into physical.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit on what's a possibility. The biggest thing is, we're 2 guys with families and busy lives, and we make time for this instead of sleeping.
All right. Big question here.
2 guys comics. Yeah.
Pineapple on your pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely not. My wife does, and she can eat it all day if she wants to.
I don't prefer it, but I don't mind it.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it. I like it with some pepperoni.
It's okay. I don't hate it. Why are you such a hater, Josh?
I don't like the texture of pineapple.
Really?
Yeah, I like the flavor. Like I like pineapple juice, but I do not like the feel of pineapple.
Oh, okay.
It's stringy, and I don't know. I don't like it.
It's coarse, and it gets everywhere.
We won't find you in the produce aisle, like sizing up some pineapple.
I have never seen Josh ingest produce.
Yeah.
Dude, I eat a lot of vegetables. I just don't eat a lot of fruit.
Follow-up question, just for Joshua.
Yeah.
Do you like, and I'm going to say yes, be proactive and say he's going to say yes. Do you like Hawaiian rolls?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, there is that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Hawaiian roll. I'll tell you what's great is to make sliders with Hawaiian rolls, man.
Oh, yeah.
Make burgers.
The King's Hawaiian. Yeah, those are good.
Oh, you should do that on Labor Day. It'd be so easy just to do sliders.
That would be easy.
Yeah.
I got some stuff to do stuffed peppers too.
Oh, nice.
Now, do you like the hot stuff, Joshua?
No. Dude, if I eat anything spicy, they're going to have to grow me a new butthole on the back of a mouse in a lab somewhere. Like I need reconstructive surgery when I eat spicy food.
I can't do the hot stuff either. It'll mess with me.
I like the way it tastes, but it destroys me.
Yeah.
It makes me hurt the ones I love.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? You do the hot stuff, spicy stuff? He's engaged. Look at that. He's not. He doesn't even know what.
Thinking of the answer.
He forgot he was on the show.
Yeah. Hard in thought.
Yeah, he doesn't want to tell us. Okay.
I don't know what happened.
It's a secret.
Hello. I don't know if he can hear us or
I don't
not.
know if he can either.
He's not frozen.
I'm
is he?
text.
No,
He
not
was
frozen.
moving.
He's moving.
Okay,
He's just
all
not
right.
saying anything. He's ignoring Rex. Oh well, it wouldn't be the first.
I'm texting him to see what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on? We're trying to talk to you.
Sorry, I
I
was having some technical issues. Repeat that.
Oh, that's
okay.
fine.
He asked if you like hot stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like one of those guys that like, on hot ones that goes out and buys like anal rector, the hot sauce or whatever.
The extra hot ghost pepper.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that stuff, but I like spice. Yeah, like whenever I make stuff, like I make chicken bug about once a month, and and my wife used to love spicy stuff with me, but when she got pregnant with our first child, something happened and like her taste buds changed. She can't even eat like not mozzarella. What is it? Marinara sauce without it like hurting her mouth now. Something strange happened. You know how hormones are. Like,
Well,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, it severely altered her palate.
Yeah. Make him moan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It severely altered her palate.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. That's or it would cause you indigestion or something like that. And then the old sort of tropish pickle and ice cream when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Strange cravings. Did your wife have any strange cravings?
She craved him for about a year.
Yeah.
She what?
I said she craved him for about a year.
Oh well, that's why they got 3.
There you go.
She I think she ate a lot of Chinese food.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I know she liked I have a funny picture of her where she was working from home and she had this table. She had this desk set up and she's working and she's sitting back because she's pregnant. She's got this huge belly and she's got her hand in like the Cheetos bag and she looks like when South Park did the World of Warcraft episode, like the fat guy. Because her belly is
I forgot all about that.
And she's got her hand deep, and it's like 9 a.m. and she's scarfing down Cheetos.
I remember when you texted me those 2 pictures.
Yes.
Like he's like same energy. He also sent me a picture of his baby girl when she was little, when she was like holding up a little star-shaped ornament. And he sent me a picture of that picture, and then sent me a picture of the Bumble from Rudolph.
The abominable snowman.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
now, are you guys reading anything from mainstream comics now at all?
I haven't. I'm not reading anything DC or Marvel.
Right.
The only thing I've really gotten into this year has been Rook Exodus.
Okay.
That book has actually blown my mind. That's been a really good book. I picked up Dawn Rider. The art's interesting, but I couldn't get into that. But I do really like Rook Exodus.
Who publishes that?
It's Image. It's that Ghost Machine thing. It's Jeff Johns and
Jeff Johns. Yeah,
he's the writer, and Fabok.
Jason Fabok.
Yeah, Jason Fabok's the artist. And you can tell it's something that was like something they really were excited to do because it's much more of like an apocalyptic sci-fi story. It's really fun. Like if you hadn't picked it up, it's good. I also have really
right there that I think conveys on a maybe subliminal level somehow, or the way it's constructed. You can tell if it's a passion project.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can tell that this is something they've wanted to do for a long time, and they finally got to do it.
Dan, what are you reading?
Dan ain't reading squat.
I'm reading Cerebus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's this local bookstore that has like almost all of the what do they call them, phone books that he released.
Yeah,
like the big collections for like next to nothing. So I'm going down there and grabbing them as I can.
Okay. Well, you got 300 issues, and then it stops.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, well, everything kind of
a lot of spin-offs too.
Yeah,
different side stories. So
I don't know if I'll read after 200 issues because I know it kind of drops off after that, and it's kind of him just ranting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the art, especially
But
the
you talk
background
about
artist.
text on a page. I bought some
Yeah.
services in the dollar bin recently,
There's a bunch of them like
in
that.
the last 6
Mhm.
months or so. And
Yeah.
I mean, you open it up and the first two
Yeah.
pages are straight text. I'm
Yep.
like,
Oh
wow.
yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Very
at
dense
the time, I'm
text.
sure that was different. And there is such thing as text stories, but where you
Right.
have like one or two illustrations and a lot of
Mhm.
text. And I get that. But it's not my jam, even though I've done one story like that where it was primarily meant to be a text story,
Yeah.
text heavy. But it was like the dying thoughts of a dying man in bed, his final thoughts. And then something comes out of him. Dirty Joe, actually.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read I got a lot of books piled up over here. Like I said, I found that local bookstore, and I mean, I picked up several Dostoevsky books. I've got all kinds of stuff like for cheap, like next to nothing. You can get them for like $1 or $2 in their pristine condition. I got a copy of like the first half of Paradise Lost that was like leather bound from like I think 1880 or something for like
Wow.
nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's crazy what you can find there. And so the time I do have to read, I'm reading mostly novels right now. I mean, I hate to say it, it's just there's not a lot of. I go to the comic book store, I always go looking for something, but even if I find something that kind of piques my interest, I can't justify spending $5 an issue on it.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And a lot of it is surface level stuff. You're in the
Yeah,
shallow end of the pool.
Yeah, it's hard to
Well,
find something that's
I like
inspiring.
the covers of the new Thundercats look great.
Mhm.
But then I flip through it and I'm like, this doesn't really read well, and the art doesn't match the cover.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I see a lot of dead artists, they're like George Perez covers or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Neil
spreading all
Adams
over.
now, or I
Yeah.
mean, they know what sells because they keep resurrecting the dead,
Yeah,
And
it's
they're doing
crazy,
a lot
man.
of the-
There's tons
lot
of reprints. Yeah, they're selling
Yeah.
tons of reprints. Yeah.
And more than their main line, and they've been doing that for a good 10 years now. And now they're going to like full reprints,
Yep.
I
will say-
bought a few of them.
I will say the other book, and I haven't bought any of it, and I will get the trade when it comes out. Is the newest run of Transformers that's had Daniel Warren
Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
the art and some of the stuff he's done with that series looks fantastic, and I've loved everything I've read of his stuff. So I will be picking that up. I'm probably not going to get individual issues because I'm too far behind now, but I'll get the trade of that because I love his stuff. That dude's awesome.
I did pick up the two first issues of the new Ahsoka series just because Takashi I always forget his last name. Tomochi. He's the guy that made Afro Samurai, but he did the covers, and the covers are fantastic.
Oh, I've seen Afro Samurai. Yeah.
Yeah, he did the two covers of the first two. The books are awful. Like, but I've got them on my wall because the covers are so good.
Yeah.
I forget.
Well, I mean, that's what made the limited series in the 80s so cool, because you can do a story and it be limited and tell that whole story within that. And a lot of the comics are surface level stuff. It's in the shallow end of the pool, but now every now and then you'll get like, something heavy like Dune, that they'll do, or something that's more involved like Watchmen, but yeah, I don't know what the future of comics is, but I think sort of all the steam is behind and momentum is behind the independent scene.
And everything else is so soulless.
Well, and I'm really glad that people like Mark Millar and even Rob Liefeld are on social media now, and Mark Millar just took it and ran with it, especially with that stuff that happened with that local comic shop, and more power to him.
Yeah,
but it's taking those guys. You can tell comics are in a bad place if it's taking those guys to basically prop it up as an idea.
Yeah.
And
well, a lot of it's through the distribution of Diamond. They to get like, I mean, they've been pulling the variant cover game for a long time with Diamond, where
Yeah.
if you order 50 copies, you can get one of these.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And
just weird.
that's not, why do you want 50 copies of something that just to get the one that's,
Yeah, they sell it for $300 just to break
and you
even.
can't sell the 50 copies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like you go to just about any local shop and they'll sell a small handful of the stuff that they get in, and then everything ends up in a long box for like $1 because they can't sell them.
Yeah.
Nobody's buying them.
Yeah. And
The indie stuff sells, but Marvel and DC, those books aren't selling. Nobody's buying any of these books.
Yeah. And really, it's kind of hit and miss. I'm sure there's some hidden gems in there, but how many people are going to stick with it and want to pick through what's good and bad? Because I mean, they do get political with a lot of the stuff,
there's a lot of that agenda stuff, and then there's
Gay Pride Month. Everything had
everything
rainbow flag.
and I don't.
How is a local comic book place supposed to sell stuff like that?
Well, and I don't. Everything's so gimmicky now. Like I don't want to read Power Rangers versus Godzilla. I don't want to read the Avengers versus the Xenomorph from Aliens or Archie meets the Predator. I could care less about.
I'm intrigued by that one.
I don't know. I could care less about all the gimmicky stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to read Helverine. I don't want to see a Wolverine Ghost Rider.
Die-cut chromium cover.
I just you can't tell me there's a good story in between those pages.
Yeah.
That's a cool cover. It's a stupid idea, but it's a cool cover. But there's no way that's a good book that I'm going to want to read again.
Maybe if Gary Friedrich wrote it.
This holds for TV or film or comics. If you have an intriguing, good concept, it can hold your interest even with bad art or bad execution. And I think, like, I'll give you a film example, and Graham Nolan will say, I love The Mist. The Mist had a good concept, but I didn't like the fatalistic, and I know it was different than the book, Stephen King book. It had a great concept, not wholly original, but it had a great concept of this portal open and all these monsters come through. But now in the film, and I thought my main thing with that movie was the out of characterization, and I thought it was an overtly anti-Christian, because you had a Christian lady, and once the pressure was on, she didn't act Christian at all.
And fact, she was even worse.
Everybody to the wolves.
She was even worse in the book than she was in the movie.
And see, I've not read the book, but that's a good example of where the concept was great, but I feel like the execution and the characterization was way off.
Yeah, every really character. I watched. There are elements of that movie that I like the effects work.
Well, there's elements of it too, but it's
and I like Thomas Jane a lot.
I do.
But outside of Thomas Jane, every other character in that movie, every actor was just chewing the scenery like crazy. That's the most overacted
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that
they flip flop.
Yeah, and they're good. There's decent actors in that movie that don't do good performances for some reason. Like it's every character in there is a caricature.
Exactly.
And maybe it's just a badly written screenplay. I don't know, but it's not a great movie. It has a couple of cool scares and some good effects, but it's not a great movie.
No.
Hey, Christina, hope you have a good Labor Day weekend.
Christina, what's happening?
I just didn't enjoy the movie, but Graham Nolan liked it. But he likes monsters and stuff. So do I, but I like good characterization. I like good characters. I'm like you. I thought they was kind of a caricature, that it was overacted. And you had flip-flops,
you
did. I'm on your side. Oh, all of a sudden I'm not on your side. I'm like, I mean, I know that can happen, but it's
That's a
was
bit
just,
off.
and the worst character in there for me was the Christian lady that was willing
Yeah,
to
that was
send
very.
your
She
child
was.
out there, you know.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous
It was a
and
ridiculous
human sacrifice and stuff. She was very badly written, and now
Well,
I
let me
think
say it. If she's a Christian, I'm a pimple on the devil's ass because
yeah,
Wow.
she's not.
I did not get any Christian.
No,
out of
she's
her
a
at all.
very.
She
She's
was a
very.
radical extremist.
Yeah,
you
she
know?
was very much a caricature of,
Yeah.
and
Dan's just
a
sitting there
mocking.
laughing.
I tell you, you know,
I don't know if I've got his
I'm-
attention or not. Hello,
I'm laughing.
Hello?
I'm laughing because I just tried to rewatch The Mist the other night and I just
did
turned
you?
it off.
Like,
It's not
forget
Turned
it.
it off. Well,
Yeah.
why did you turn it off?
I remembered how it ended.
I
Yeah.
know. I hated the ending.
Yeah.
I guess the ending before it happened, I said, as soon as he kills his
Yeah.
family, they're going to come over the hill. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
and they did.
well, and the
Right.
thing is, the brave thing to do would have been to end it with the gunshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
That would have worked.
And
It would have been dark. It would have been nihilistic.
They didn't do that in the book.
No, no. In the book, they're just hoping to find life somewhere. They're hoping that eventually they'll drive out of it.
Yeah.
And like they drive under this giant thing and like hope that there's something out there.
Well,
but-
that was like I saw a pretty decent, not a great, but a pretty decent.
Yeah, but that
sci-fi
ending
movie.
that's definitely one of the worst endings.
Yeah,
By
and
contrast, you know, if there was a movie from a few years back called Splinter that was a really
Oh, yeah.
small, low budget horror movie, but it had better performances, better
pizza.
character development in a small contained one place. It was all contained to this one gas station, basically. But it's a 1,000 times better movie than hardly any of the
Yeah.
horror movies that come out
Now, I
anymore.
watched the sci-fi movie, and it had the main characters was a man and a woman. There was never any build-up that there was anything between them. Never throughout the whole movie. But at the end of the movie, we don't have an ending. They'll wind up in bed.
I hate
Yeah.
that.
It ruined the whole movie for me. I was like, you've got no ending. Just because they're male
Yeah.
and female, they're going to wind up in bed together. But you've
Yeah.
not even alluded that they even liked each other.
Yeah, it's not even earned. Yeah,
It's not even earned, right?
yeah.
It made no sense. It took
Right.
you out of it. You know, what otherwise was what a pretty decent movie. You
What's
know, not
interesting, I saw a article earlier this week actually that was saying like we're slowly starting to learn more stuff about Gen Z, like statistically and stuff.
Yeah.
And they found that like Gen Z actually prefers not to see it. Like they want less or no sex in movies.
Huh.
And they found that like that turns them off to a movie when there's sex scenes in them.
That's only because
Huh.
they're not having sex. Anyway.
That's probably right.
But it's interesting to me though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting to me that like they see that and they say, I don't want to see that. Like I want to see action or I want to see a story. I don't want to see that. And that's kind of cool actually. It makes me
Yeah, we need
that's
to
one
see
thing
it.
that actually makes me respect them a little bit.
Oh yeah, you have
Yeah.
kids. I understand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing at this day and time because it's been pushed hot for decades. You know,
Yeah.
from the very beginning of the advent of Hollywood. It's when it was Hollywood land. There's always been salaciousness and
Yeah. The director's couch. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's so many things that like movies that we watched growing up that you didn't really notice it, and then you go look back at it now, and there's so many movies that like the type of some of the stuff that the way women are treated in some of them, or some of the things you really realize like this kind of makes me feel gross watching this now.
Yeah.
Like
Out of control.
what,
Yeah,
what are
some
you
of those-
working on, Apex? You're working very diligently.
Yeah.
On something.
I
he
am
wants to show his
working
He
artwork.
draws.
Yes, I'm
He
sure
draw-
you.
well, he races too because he was brushing it off.
I was.
He's removing those pencils. He's
Hey,
just
Mike.
finished inking.
Mike Walters in the house. Hey, Mike.
Got
Oh yeah.
Look at that rack.
yes.
Hey,
Carey versus Bartholomew Clawhead.
Now,
That's
can you
cool, man.
explain that
Yeah.
name, please?
Please,
He's
my
got
father. My
claws.
father is
Oh,
Mr.
here he
Clawhead.
It's Bartholomew Clawhead.
He has claws on his head. What's there to
Yes.
understand?
Okay,
Yes.
all right, makes comic book sense.
Snakes out of his torso. And you got Hawkiri. She's a feathered warrior woman from the fourth dimension.
Well, Clawhead is an Americanization of Clawheisel. When he came over,
Kloppenhagen.
Clawhead, whenever he came over on the boat. It's Polish.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I'm going to go and wrap it up, guys. Thank you.
I had a blast, guys.
Yeah, it was fun. It's fun hanging out. And like we appreciate anytime y'all push our stuff. I know that you don't have to do that, so we appreciate it, man. And this book's funded, it's going in demand, and
it's dope.
As soon as we get the payout from the campaign, it'll go to the printers, and as soon as we get it in our hands, it'll go to the buyers. So
there's the
we're
link
looking
there.
forward to that. Yep. If you hadn't done it yet, now's the time to do it.
Time to promote. Buy the book. Buy that book.
Yep.
And all the ones that come after it.
We got to start doing more. We got to start doing more YouTube stuff too. We've been pretty lax on it. So
well, now that the book's done,
is right here. Back in the action.
Yeah. Now that the book's done, we'll try to find some time to get more content creation going.
Absolutely. Make short videos. I guess YouTube likes that stuff. Get you.
Oh yeah, they like their little reels.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Apex, and thanks, Devil Flyer.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
And Rex, I'll reach out to you about next week. All right.
That'd be great.
Right, thanks, guys.
Let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and sign off with a promo video from my book Fembat. So guys, have a great rest of the evening. We'll see you next time, and we'll just keep collecting. Ciao for now. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Well, I guess they said bye, huh? There we go. Yeah, you can share screen. There we go.
Oh, let me share it. 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 Going. Yeah.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hey.
Wow, that's out of focus. Straight off the campaign. Out of focus.